And it's like
Not even Outback era, just like way before. Okay.
not even the Outback era. Like, yes,
Okay. Okay.
like the pink armor and cape is right there.
I
Like,
mean, I figured we
and
all go back to
like if you want
back.
to go back to a template, let's go back to the templates, okay? How do you
I
think we
figured.
got? All right, hello guys, we are back for another episode of another relaunch. I am Keenan.
What's up, y'all? I am LZ.
How are you doing this week, LZ?
Ciao. I I'm all right. It's been such a long week with like
Oh,
working
I feel that.
and uh the day job. I just this is for the
I'm,
birds.
didn't we have this conversation? Didn't we have this conversation? It is time for rich men. For
Come
rich
school.
men to come pick us up and just say you don't have to do anything else ever again. Like ever again. And that's
hmm
all we need. It's that time.
Leave me alone and let me read my comic books. That'd be
Okay. All
fantastic.
right. And speaking of comic books, we had a lot this week, so let's go ahead and actually get into that. So we'll start up with the first up on our list is I'm actually not even going to do this. It's Immortal Hulk number 45. Al Ewing, Joe Bennett, and who was doing the colors? Paul Mounts is doing the colors on this issue. We're 45 issues in. It's good. We're going to move on. Next up, we have Nocterra number 2 from
Oh,
Scott Snyder. And this has art from Tony Daniel. Yeah, I get picked up the second issue. Tony Daniel's on the art, and Tomo Mori is on the colors for this. Now, um, I've come to the realization that Tony
not
Daniel's
really.
art. No. So it's like I've come to the realization that Tony Daniel's art might not be for me. It's not like super to my taste. I think it's fine. I think he does a good job with the story. The story itself is like kind of weird. I think if you remember from the last time I told you, basically there was some big catastrophe that happened on Earth. It turned the sky completely black. There's this girl, Val. She's a truck driver. She helps get people through. People who are left in this darkness too long become mutated. So at the end of the first issue, this character named Blacktop Bill, he like is looking for the guy who Val is taking to this next location. He says he's the guy who blocked out the sun. This issue is kind of the next part of that. She's kind of confronting the guy, saying what's really going on. He's telling her this lie about how he was in the sanctuary and they were trying to do this thing to reach heaven, and it backfired, and that's how the sun got blotted out and the sky became black. And she's like, I don't believe that. So back at the place where the truck drivers hang out, Blacktop Bill has like killed a bunch of people, set the rigs on fire. So some girl calls up Val and she's like, "Look, this man is coming after you. You need to get on the road." Blacktop Bill shows up and he says, "All you got to do is give me the guy, and I'll let you and your brother live." And so she starts kind of backing the truck up, and she tells the guy, she's like, "Tell me the truth." And so the dude's like, okay, I was never at this sanctuary. Everything I've been telling you was a lie. He's like, if you want to know the truth, he's like, we're in hell. He's like, but I just want to try and make it to find a way to be livable. And she's like, that's the realest thing anybody's ever told me. And she drives off with the guy. Blacktop Bill is like, okay, I like you. And then the issue ends. It's it's weird. I feel like this book
Mhm.
kind of has everything that I enjoy. Like there's action, there's like mystery, it's got like monsters in it, there's a little horror stuff, like the villain's very menacing. We got our femme fatale lead, we've got a little brother. It's just not clicking though.
Okay.
It's just not clicking. For
Do
me
you think it's the
personally,
art? You think it's the art?
I think it is the art. I think it is the art. And again, it's just like I've just might come to the realization that Tony Daniel's art is not to my taste. So I think if you're into that kind of stuff, go ahead. I actually recommend people go and pick it up. I think it's very well written. Again, it's just not clicking for me. I might still pick up the next issue just to see where it goes, um, but I'm not completely sold on like sticking with it full time just yet.
Okay. All right.
Okay,
Check it out, y'all.
check
What would
it
you rate
out.
it?
3.5 out of 5
Okay.
for sure. Yeah,
Okay.
most definitely. Um, yeah. That's what I would go. So then next up on the list we have Seven Secrets number 7. Very excited. Oh, that was a nice little ton of Seven Secrets number 7.
Yeah,
Um,
nice job at that.
yeah. From Tom Taylor, Danielle De Niculo, and Walter Biamonte. Now, I'm very excited to have this series back. We're in issue 7. I honestly don't remember what happened the first 6 issues. It's been a little bit of a break since we had the last issue. I should have actually went back and read them, but this one was still very fun. I do remember that the secrets and the keepers are keeping the 7 secrets of the world. Their base was destroyed, so now they're kind of like on the run. Casper, the main character, he's like in this weird, like kind of space sea type of universe, and he's trying to swim to this kingdom. There are these two like fairies that are following him, and they basically try and make him relive this life that he apparently lived with them. But they're also about to make him walk off a cliff. It was very dramatic. It was very dramatic. But like
Oh,
just
that's
as that
drama.
happens, yeah, right. But just as that happens, like his mom and another guy who's one of the other keepers like pop up and they're like, hey, they rescue him. But apparently the life these fairies showed him about living on this island with them was real. And so he kind of confronts his mom and he's like, what haven't you told me? Like, who am I? What's been my life? Why don't I remember all these things? Why was it hidden from me? And she's like, that's a story for another day. And so we reunite with the rest of the seekers and keepers, yes, holders and keepers, excuse me, who
Okay.
have the secrets, and the issue ends. It's good. I
Okay.
feel like I feel like Tom Taylor does a really good job at like handling character voices, character interaction, making you feel the emotion. Like he is stellar with that. I won't lie, he feels a little safe. Like
Mm.
even though things are going bad, like everything's gonna go like right. Like
Yeah.
it's all gonna be fine then. But it's still a really good story. The action is good. This was a little bit more like digging deeper into the mystery. I still highly recommend it though. It's only 7 issues in, so everybody has plenty of time to get into it.
Okay. Nice. Do you feel like
Pick it
it's
up.
starting like a whole nother arc with this issue or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. We'll see. Because I'm like trying to think about it. I had to like go back in my head and like think about what's happening in all the other issues as well. And I was like, no, no, no. Like there's still definitely a continuation. There's like an overtone of what the story arc is. But you can tell he's planting things to keep it going for a long time, hopefully. Good book.
Okay. Check that out,
Mm.
y'all.
All right. And so, next up on the list is one I actually did not read. We
Okay.
have Star Wars: The High Republic #4, and this is by Kavan Scott and Ariel Anadito.
Yes. 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 So
This is
I
all
did
you.
read this one. This is all me.
This is all you. This is all you.
And I will say that I've had an interesting thing when it comes to like mini series where I feel like from one issue to the next you feel like, damn, I feel like I just missed a bunch of stuff. But then I have to remember that it's a mini and they can only really like tell so much of a story in it. And this issue kind of had a little bit of that where you in the last issue, basically all of the heroes had been kind of captured by this plant like creature thing that could kind of take over people's bodies. And
Okay.
Kiev is the main Jedi Knight. She just got her knighthood. We've been like following her, and her Jedi Master had recently like been going crazy on this recent mission that they were going on, and he's been like kind of bloodlusted a little bit more, and he's been bringing up the fact that he lost his arm, and then he ends up being the one like most susceptible to this creature and gets up getting taken controlled over by this plant thing. Well, this issue like we kind of jump ahead to them already being captured and just kind of like doing the whole plead for their lives while their former friend or current friend that's being controlled is like telling them like, no, I'm gonna just take over this whole planet.
Mm-hmm.
So in this issue, they are the main heroes are sitting there still being captured. Uh, the taken over Jedi Master, the like kind of lizard looking guy, he I can't think of his name. I can't think of his name right now, but he is like being controlled by this plant creature, and he's telling them like, no, I've been taking over this planet. I've been feeding on the people of this planet, and the this planet's kind of like not a part of the empires and it's not a part of anything yet. It's like one that is kind of on the outskirts. So they have just been like farming and like there's not a lot of people there. And they had just kind of got this contact for the first time really with these Jedi. And the
Right.
person who has been like leading this planet has been like feeding the people to the plant creature, and like he knew it. So
Oh,
because he's looking at it like he just wants to have the power of this planet, he don't care. So
right. Okay.
um, they end up trying to basically get to their Jedi friend and break through to him. He finally breaks free of the plant creature's control, and at the end of the book, some huts appear because if you guys remember the last issue, there was a hut that they found on a different space station, but it was dead. Well, it turns out that it was not dead. It was actually controlled by that plant creature. So it ends up
Hmm.
waking up and like starting to attack all the Jedi. They have to kill the hut. And the hut's brother like appears at the end of the issue, letting people know that he's looking for his brother and that
Oh,
that planet is now under hut control because the huts are like like bounty hunter people who like run after stuff and like get stuff with their
are the
money.
huts? Are the huts? No, the huts aren't the ones like in the white chunky suits, right?
No, the huts are the one. If you remember that, those are stormtroopers.
Oh, okay. Oh wait, no, Jabba the Hutt. He's
Jabba
like
the
the
Hutt.
big fat
Yep,
guy, right?
there you go.
Okay. The
Yeah,
slug. He's like a
yeah,
slug. Yes, yes,
yes,
yes. Okay. I know
yes.
that.
And now like I assume that's gonna be his brother. Like that's kind of they kind of look they're drawn similarly. But he appears and he's like the Hutt cartel is here to take over this planet, and that's where the book ends. So it's basically going to
Okay.
be them, the Jedi now fighting the Hutts. I feel like this series has been all right. I've been a little lukewarm to it because this is supposed to be like the new kickstart to like the new Jedi era. So now that we've all finished with everything that was going on in the movies, that was like post Darth Vader. Now
Mhm.
this is stuff. It's like the High Republic is supposed to be way before the Empire even rose. So it's like in
Mhm.
like a prosperous time, and they're supposed to be introducing these new villains called the Nihil, but I haven't met them yet. all they've talked all they've talked about in this series so far is that they exist and that the
Mm.
like lizard Jedi Master, like that's how he lost his arm, was like fighting them, but like we haven't seen them yet. And
Okay.
this is just a mini series, so I'm like, when are we going? I thought this was supposed to like
So
break open the
is it
doors
only
to the.
5 issues?
It's 6 issues, but
Okay, so you
that's
got
it.
2 more issues. So they gotta like fit a lot in 2 issues, is what you're
Yeah.
saying. Or or we have to like spin off into something else. Because isn't that supposed to be
Mhm.
the thing with like all the Star Wars comics and shows and like movies that everything is connected?
Yeah, they're all like connected with each other. You can kind of just pick your favorite thing and
Hmm.
follow it all through, and they all kind of piece off into each other. But normally, what happens is similar to, I guess, like kind of the X-Men line. There's like the Star Wars line of stuff,
Hmm.
and then there's like the Bounty Hunter books and
Okay.
the like more strictly Jedi books. So like it's like all kinds of
Do you
things that.
think that whatever they're just building in this story, they're just like waiting to put somewhere else and maybe like another show or like a movie and we'll see it more there?
I feel like this was a more of an introduction for Kiev, like this like cute. I don't want to say black. She's like drawn black, but she's not human. So like
Okay.
there's like black girl who is the Jedi Knight of the story, who you're like kind of following and go through her trials. I feel like this was more of an introduction to her,
Okay.
and she's really cool. But I would rather watch her explore the universe and not just like be stuck on this planet. I thought that I
Okay.
was going,
That's fair.
and by universe I don't mean like the entire like Star Wars galaxy. I mean like the Star Wars High Republic. Like I thought that we were going to be following Kiev as like the Nihil are introduced,
Hmm.
and she's going through her trials or whatever. But it's mostly just been her on this planet dealing with this issue.
Okay.
So maybe what I'm looking for is actually in other stuff. This is the only Star Wars: The High Republic comic book out, but they've released a bunch of books, and stuff like that.
Mm.
So I probably gotta read the books.
You gotta read some novels. That's what you're
Yeah,
telling
I gotta
me.
read the books. Yeah,
What would you rate this issue?
I would give this a 3 out of 5.
Oh, okay. That's
Yeah,
fine. That's fair.
yeah, it's
Okay.
right. Still great art. I like the art.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
fair. Okay. Well, next up on our list is the Swamp Thing #2, and this is from Ram V and Mike Perkins with art by, excuse me, with colors by Mike Spicer. Now, I love Ram V. And I think this book has only helped me realize like how much of a Swamp Thing fan I actually am.
Okay.
And like I would not I followed a lot of his books. Like I even remember the Swamp Thing show that was on HBO Universe, DC Universe when that was launching. Like I was all
Yeah.
about that show. Like the Swamp Thing, I don't know what it is, but I'm just so into these stories. And like Ramby has introduced us to a new Swamp Thing. His name is Levy. And so
Okay.
the first issue, we basically had him kind of getting, I guess, taken over by the Green, and he was like having these transformations in the Swamp Thing. So this issue, this guy, Pale Wanderer, who's like this ghost in the desert killing people, has been pulling Swamp Thing out at night to like watch him kill all these people. Levy finally like kind of takes control of it and really accepts being part of the Green and like what it means for him and what it means to his like legacy and his fatherhood, and he's able to defeat the Pale Wanderer. And like at the end of it, there is a giant tree like sprouts up in the middle of the desert. And so through it all, there was like this sheriff who was like trying to stop the Pale Wanderer, and like the Pale Wanderer was about to kill him. He's like, "Oh, you're drunk, like you're bad." And so when the people are asking him about it the next day, they're like, "What is this?" And he's just like, "It's a tree." he's like, he's like, "It's a giant tree in the middle of the desert." Because like when Swamp Thing killed the Pale Wanderer, he like basically put some of him into him, and like the tree sprouted from out of his body. It was
Oh,
like
okay.
it was dope. Like Mike Perkins is killing it on art on this book. Again, it's a horror comic, so you know I'm all about it.
I know you're loving it. Yeah.
Like I am all about it, and it's just like the story that he's telling, the way he's getting into the mindset. Like Ramby has a really good he does a really good job at like getting into the mindset of a character. It's like I know Tom Taylor can like kind of hit everybody's voice. Ram V like really gets into like what's broken about you, like what's breaking you down, and like bringing that to the surface and like making you really get into that part of it. And so I love that. Um, and again, because this guy is new, you don't feel like beholden by years of continuity or other things that's happened with Swamp Thing or like who the other ones are. It's just like the Green is the Green. It's always here. It just wants the Earth to survive, and it's gonna find a host. And then this guy's the host because he's going through all this like family issues, and like his dad just died, and he kind of like hates himself a little bit. Um, but it's great. I would give this a 4 out of 5, a 4.5 out of
Wow.
5
Okay.
actually, a 4.5
Well,
out of 5.
damn. All right.
Yeah, like yeah, this is really good. And so I thought this was an ongoing series, but apparently it's not. When I this issue says number 2 of 10, so
Oh, okay.
um, you don't have to like really worry about I guess reading it right away. I would love for people to read it right away and buy it so it can continue on and like show that support. But it's something I guess if you want to wait a little bit, trade weight, you can have some time because it is a finite number of issues.
How do you feel about that? Do you think like that's like become a trend recently?
So I would
And
have
do
said in the past.
you prefer it?
So I would have said in the past, yes. I feel like a lot of books weren't making it past like 12 issues. And I feel like publishers were scared of their books making it past 12 issues. And so a lot of people really kind of started to write their stories in that time frame, especially even like when Tom King did like the Vision series, the
Hmm.
Mr. Miracle series, they felt very self-contained. There was like even a Old Man Hawkeye series that I think that did that. But I will say I feel like Immortal Hulk has kind of broken that curse, and I feel like comic book runs are lasting for a much longer time, especially like even during the pandemic. Like we weren't doing anything
Hmm.
else, and I think I saw like some figures on that like sales did actually go up a lot, which makes sense. So I hope that like trend continues. I hope people enjoyed the books while they read them, and so that way it's like even as we start to go back outside, you take some time, like an hour or so, stay
Yeah.
inside, read your comic books.
Take your comics outside.
Take them outside. That's what digital's for.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, like definitely highly recommend it. I'm into this book. I'm into it. Next up on our list is Avengers number 44
Oh,
from Jason
child.
Aaron's, art by Javier Garron, and colors from David Curio. Now,
I do like
we're not
Javier's.
gonna we're not gonna stay long on this. This arc, this is the end of the Phoenix arc. It was
Oh.
not good. It's over. It was not good. And I'm gonna tell you why it's not good. So first of all, so in this thing, he has made the Phoenix Thor's mom,
Mm.
and he has now made Echo the Phoenix.
I, Wait, what? I don't. Why can't? Why can't?
Echo is now the Phoenix. So we've gone through all these issues. They were fighting. So basically, all the leftover heroes, Namor, She-Hulk, Captain America, Black Panther, Shauna, the She-Devil, somebody else. I never remember the other chick's name. They're still all fighting to be the Phoenix. Echo, but apparently, who was defeated by Namor in the last issue, she's like rising out of the ocean, covered by all these little firebirds, talking about how the Phoenix apparently like chose her because she lost, and like the Phoenix is all about like, I don't know, it's this weird monologue that just like does not fit. It talks about how it picked her because she, the Phoenix has had many hosts, but it's never had a host who could fight in any style because Echo can mimic anybody. So like she does this thing where she goes to fight Namor, and he's like, "Oh, that's Atlantean Kraken style. How do you know that?" Like it's just not good.
Mm.
And so Echo flies off with the Phoenix Force. Jean makes an appearance. And she's like psychically reaching out to Echo, and she's like, you're a loner, but don't do this alone. The Phoenix loves to thrive off of loneliness, and like and then like when the Phoenix is leaving all the other hosts to go into Echo, they have like Valkyrie holding Thor back because he's screaming. He's like, "No, bring back my mom. Like that's my mother." Like what? Nice. Like it just does. It's like not good. Like it doesn't make sense.
What was the point of that retcon? Like why?
I think Aaron's bored.
Okay.
I just think he's like a little bored, and so he's like, I just want to have some fun. Honestly, this is one of those runs that I don't think anybody's ever going to reference ever.
Yeah, I agree. I think because of the title, it has to be put out. But I feel like this isn't something that I think is ever going to be like.
And I think I've said it before, especially like with previous issues. This feels like a book that is very much written for the MCU. Every arc is just like a big movie that you want to see, like getting heroes battling, doing all this stuff. You can make it something in there. But for anything else, no. Like I genuinely do not. Who's going to see Echo as the Phoenix in Marvel Universe, like the MCU? Is that what you want to see?
No, that's not what I want to see.
Like who wants to see? Like no, you don't want to read that in your comic books. You don't want to see that a lot. Like no, it's just not. I don't know. I think he's just bored, and he's kind of just like, I'm just going to do whatever because he has, I don't know, Heroes Reborn coming up, and then it's supposed to be Avengers Reborn.
That's him.
That is him.
Interesting. Did the book finish with like a setup for the next arc, or did it just end?
It ended, but we do know that the next arc, the next issue is the King in Black tie-in.
Wait, I thought that was over.
It's like it was like something with Blade like fighting No. I was just like, what's going on? I was just like, I'm not doing it. I'm not picking this book up again. I'm not.
It was time. I jumped off very early. I was done after like.
I jumped off early too, but I came back. So I came back for the Moon Knight arc.
Oh right.
And then I stayed. I don't know why. Because I don't even like the Phoenix.
Right.
I don't even like the Phoenix. I think I just want to see the heroes fight, and then it was like, all right, this is just getting done, and then it just like it ended up as what it is. So that was that.
At least it didn't end with Jean getting the Phoenix again or something, because
she deserves it.
She is a lot more interesting without it, but
I think she and the Phoenix deserve each other.
I see what you're saying.
But it was weird. It's just a weird arc. Javier Garron's art is beautiful. He's fantastic.
Yeah, he's a great artist.
He has been consistently killing it on here. David Curio's colors are magnificent. He is probably one of my favorite current colorists right now. So it's like totally into him. I would give this issue just a 2 out of 5. Just like it's
that
just
sounds like that's off the strength of the art alone.
He has Echo do this like monologue about like her Cheyenne heritage and like how she's the Thunderbird, and it was just like, Jason Aaron, please don't do that. Like that is not your place. Like we just got the indigenous voices issue with Echo, and it was very good. Like please don't come in here and do this. It was no. So moving on. The next up is Marauders number 19, Jerry Duggan, Stefano Caselli, and colors from Edgar Delgado. This was probably like one of my favorite Marauders issues in a really long time.
Oh, really? I
And
dropped
I
it.
realized because it did not have Emma Frost in it,
That would
and
make
it had
that.
nothing to do with the Hellfire Club. Um, and
Oh,
it was
those
just so
are the biggest
enjoyable.
things about the book that I didn't like.
Yeah, she barely drags it down. This issue was Kate, Bishop, Iceman, and Pyro. So basically, when Shaw killed Kitty, or excuse me, Kate, and Lockheed was dropped to the bottom of the ocean, some people in Madripoor, Lowtown, found him, nursed him back to health. So Kitty helped them. Excuse me, Kate. I can't help but call her Kitty. It's force of habit.
Right, right.
Kate helped them, and so the Verendi, the Kid Hellfire Club,
I don't like
who
them.
they're kind of awful, but they serve their purpose here. They basically attack Lowtown to try and destroy it,
Mhm.
but the mutants can't go unprotected because Madripoor is not in an alliance with Krakoa and the United Nations and all that, so it would be an international incident. And so they have to sneak in. They get Callisto to put a gate in the sewers of Madripoor. They go and get some Morlocks, Mask, Marrow, Bliss, and the other one whose name I can't remember. So they actually go in, help the people of Lowtown
Mm.
get out, and because of that, they start calling it Mutie Town. So basically, the mutants are in Madripoor also now. They've
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Taking over Lowtown.
they've taken over Lowtown. The people are calling it Mutie Town now. So they own the Princess Bar,
Oh, cute.
which is very exciting. And it's I really like what Jerry did with a lot of the character voices here. Everyone kind of got a chance to shine. Kate had her moment. Pyro and Iceman have this little team up. They create a giant pyrotechnic Iceman thing. We don't actually see it, but we hear the ships they're creating a distraction for it against. They're commenting on it, and people are take pictures of it for us.
That's
Uh,
cool.
it's a couple of funny moments like that in there. You have the Morlocks kind of dealing with the question of, as they're killing the post-humans who are attacking Lowtown, they're asking, they're do these people count as humans? Is this against the Krakoan law? Are we gonna get thrown in the pit for this? And but they're well, we don't actually live in Krakoa anyway, so it doesn't matter because the Morlocks have all been living on in the state that's not
Oh,
attached to
okay.
Krakoa. Yeah, Mass has been there. It's been good. It was a good issue. I feel like you should pick this up. I think what we've talked about, and you've mentioned how you wanted this book to be them going off, saving people, pirates. You don't like the Hellfire Club. You didn't want all of that. This is exactly what that issue was.
Right. I was under the impression that even when we did get the Hellfire Club, that it was gonna be, Emma giving boss bitch meetings and
Yeah.
giving have you ever seen House of Cards?
Yeah.
Like she was gonna be in meetings talking like Claire. And but that is not at all what what this book
Yeah.
has been. So that's kind of what made me kind of jump off of it. But maybe it sounds like this issue I would actually end up
I
liking.
would say pick up this issue. I'm gonna be interested to see. This. I feel like this book's getting a bit of a shakeup after the Hellfire Gala. We know Storm is leaving, or she's already left. If she wasn't in this issue, at least. I feel like Emma kind of won't be around as much anymore. I don't know. That's just a hunch. I know Jerry's also taking over another book. I wonder if he's going to still continue to write this one, or if this will go over to somebody else and it'll get another shift that way, kind of like what Vita did when they took over New Mutants. But we'll
Right,
see.
right.
Again, this issue was good. I would give it
It's
four out
not
of
getting
five.
canceled or anything, is it? Is
I don't think
after
so.
Jerry leaves to do the other book?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. What I've noticed is that most of the X book writers right now actually either have two books or will have two books in the future.
Okay. Good for them.
Yeah, right. So we can do something. But so that was that. I would actually give this issue a 4 out of 5. Probably one of my favorite Marauders issues to date. I really enjoyed it. It was great. It was great.
Wow.
I even
Yeah.
enjoyed Kate.
Yeah.
Like
That was really the thing that brought me away from this book. I don't really like Emma outside of a fashion
yeah.
moment and and when she does stuff for the kids, but I don't really care about her. And the Hellfire stuff was not hitting, and I don't really care about Kate. So
This
I
was
was not here for the Emma and Kate show in this book, in this series.
I think I liked Kate because she wasn't with Emma.
What?
Like she was interacting with other characters who I like. So it was cool. Yeah. But that was that. And so the last book on our list for the day, my favorite book,
Mm.
Excalibur, issue number 20 from Teeny Howard and Marcus Toe. with art, color art. I cannot say that together for today for some reason. With art and colors by Eric Nasiega.
I did not read this. I dropped this. I'm sorry. I just I've had to accept that I just did not. I don't care about Excalibur, like the stuff that they were doing in there. I was hoping to get some. I was only really in Excalibur for Betsy and like her journey as Captain Britain, but like the whole team don't do nothing, and every time I'd walk away from the issues, I was always like, what? So I just dropped it.
I mean, so I don't mind that the rest of the team does nothing because honestly, I don't care about anybody else on the team but Betsy. Like truly, like this book could be about nobody but the Braddocks, and I would be perfectly fine. Like everybody else could go.
Yeah.
But also to your point, they don't do anything, so there's not really a reason for me to care about them. I think this issue kind of reminded me that Excalibur gives me like whiplash. Because the way that I can like jump back and forth with my feelings on the issue, like I already spoke about why I didn't really care for 19 and what I felt about what I felt as though it didn't do for Betsy in her story arc and her character. And so I was kind of like cautiously optimistic that this one would do some of that. I feel like it did, but it was just in a very clumsy way. So in this issue, we basically have Malice is on Krakoa. She took over the body of Emma Frost. She went through a gate. Her psychic form went through a gate. She took over the body of Emma Frost, and so like Betsy and Psylocke 2 basically stop her from completely taking her over. But Charles walks in, and he's like, "Oh, that's Malice. We're gonna throw her in the pit because she attacked a council member." And like Betsy and Psylocke 2 are kind of like, maybe not. Like, isn't Krakoa supposed to be allowed giving second chances and like letting people redeem themselves? Like, she's young. Like, let us try and talk to her. We also get the origin story of Malice, which is something I don't think we've ever had before.
No, we've never gotten that.
Basically, she's a 16-year-old girl. She was suffering from depression, it seems like, in the issues, and she was kind of having an argument with her mom, and when her mom comes up to bring her some food, she finds her basically dead on the ground, and we see like Malice's psychic form there. I guess this is like her mutant powers activated, how she became the psychic entity she was, and then she just like flies off, and then that's how she becomes the Malice we know, which honestly felt a little strange. I've never read Malice as a teenager.
Me neither.
And like maybe you could be, and that's why I was like, I'm kind of upset you didn't read it now, because you're supposed to be the Malice guy because you are a Polaris fan, and Malice and Polaris like have a very like heavy connection, and so I want to get your opinion on that. Has she ever seemed that way to you? What are your thoughts there?
No, she's always. That's kind of weird that they would end up making her a teenager. And for the listeners and people not watching, I'm literally wearing a Polaris t-shirt right now. And that's weird that she would come across as a teenager, because when she controlled Polaris during the whole Marauders thing,
yeah,
she was supposed to be like Sinister's like right hand general kind of character, and she never came across as like inept or like a teenager or like a lost child or anything. She was like, I know I know what I'm doing.
She was giving you Psylocke 2, 45-year-old assassin.
Yeah.
I totally understand that. So that was a little strange to me. And so then you kind of we go into the rest of the issue, and so then we like see Betsy, Rogue, and Jubilee like are in Betsy's room. She's trying on clothes. But she's like talking about how they don't really fit her, and so that's when Psylocke 2 walks in, and she's like, "Oh, these clothes don't fit me because they were made for your body." And it's like that also doesn't make sense, because like a big part of the body swap was always that like Betsy and Quanon were like physically the same.
Right.
Like, same height, same frame, like, or not the same frame, but like same height, same, but like it was supposed to be like a swap merging of them. But you know, she comes in and she's like, we need to deal with this Malice situation. So we also get like some really interesting bits with them. I will say I was very much in the camp of I never needed to see them together again. Like I was very much okay with them giving Rogue, Carol, We don't really bang together, but we can do the job together.
We could do the job together, yeah.
Teeny seems to kind of be trying to make them come to a place of friendship, which is fine. It actually is kind of cute here. And we see that Betsy can hold Psylocke 2's psychic knife.
Oh.
Yeah, which is like, again, it kind of calls back to last issue, how she was saying that they're always going to be connected in ways that they'll probably never fully understand. So
Wait. What do you mean she can hold her psychic knife?
Like she drops it. Like it's
Oh.
like a psychic dagger and she drops it and like Betsy catches it.
Oh, okay.
And she says it, she's like, I've only ever been the only person who can like hold that when I make it. And so she was like, oh, well, okay. You wouldn't know how to make a psychic knife if it wasn't for me, but okay.
I mean, T.
Like, get into it. But so they go into this mindscape of Malice. Betsy kicks Quanon out to deal with Malice, and she talks about how, come to Krakoa, get your second chance. We can make you a body. Like, we can try and help you get out of this funk you're in. They fight a little bit. Betsy does have some moments about, like, you know, I might have lost that fight. Because Malice tries to goad her, like, oh, you lost that fight with Iska, which wasn't really a fight. But she was, you know, Betsy's like, you know, I might have lost that fight, but we still won the war. She was like, I am a fighter. You trying to goad me isn't going to work. I've done this before. I've fought my own shadow. You can't, like, manifest yourself as me and, like, make me back down. It's not going to work. So I really enjoyed that moment for her. All in all, they managed to kind of free Malice, give her a body. Charles is like, we throwing her in the pit.
I mean,
Charles is like, Charles does not see it for her at all. He's like, I'm reading her mind right now. He's like, she's still very like volatile. She's still very like angry. I don't see that she feels forgiveness or anything, or she feels sorrow for anything that she's done. But all the girls are like, Betsy, Psylocke 2, and Emma are all like, no, like, we're gonna show mercy. It's okay. She didn't actually harm us. Let's help this child find a second chance. So Charles is like, fine. The issue as a whole is kind of supposed to be a discussion.
They didn't give Lorna no say.
No, I mean, so there is a data page in the book that talks about like all of Malice's previous targets, and like Polaris is on the list. And I was like, oh, look at that, she got mentioned. The issue as a whole is kind of supposed to be a discussion around depression and suicide. There is, at the end of the issue, there's like a little blurb, you know, if you know anyone who's feeling depressed or you're feeling suicidal, like, look for help. So it's, again, I understand. I feel as though it just wasn't happened the best, because even the way they kind of handle Malice, it's, we give her a body, go be happy. Like, you're on this island now, you got your second chance, like, don't mess it up. It's like, okay, but what are we actually going to do to, like, help her? Like, I think, especially with Psylocke 2 being there, it would have been like, okay, let's add her to the Hellions and try and, like, do something there. Like, let's move her out. I don't know. Again, it might happen in the book. I don't know, but just the way it ended off in this issue, it felt a little strange. And it was just kind of like, okay, like, I guess. With Betsy, again, this is where I say I get the whiplash, because the way Teeny writes her, from last issue to this issue is so completely different. And again, last issue was so completely different from issue 17, which was different from 13. And when she gets Betsy's voice, like, she gets it, like, it's there. You get this like kind of confident woman. They've also started the trend, not the trend, but the take of that. A part of why Betsy enjoyed being in Quanon's body was because she hated her own. In the Age of X-Men miniseries that happened, Extremis, Leah Williams had Betsy saying that she suffered from like body dysmorphia, and she kind of hated her body, and like that's why she was always nice to Quanon's body. And so I guess Teeny is taking that into this one. She makes a comment to Malice about how she never liked her original body. She's like, oh, we can make you a new body in Krakoa. Like, they made the one that I'm currently in. I never liked my original one, so like it doesn't matter to me. And I don't like that. I do not enjoy it, and honestly, like, it kind of
This is a safe space. You could say it.
So first of all, like body dysmorphia is like a very slippery slope, like in and of itself. This is for someone like I talk about how I go to the gym. This is someone who suffers from some body dysmorphia of his own. You know what I'm saying? Like I
Yeah.
get it. I understand the like struggles of dealing with your body, attaining perfection, all of those kinds of things. I don't think that's something that Betsy has ever dealt with. Or not to the level of she hated her body. And I feel like even having her say that on the page, it takes away from the Mystery and Madripoor arc where she recreated her original body. You know, after Sapphire Sticks had like kind of killed her in Psylocke 2's body, she like uses her psychic energy to recreate herself in the image that she sees as the best. And she like has this whole monologue at the end of the issue about how for so long everyone else was controlling her body and doing whatever they wanted with it and like using her and abusing her, and like she's finally found that strength to take it back and reclaim herself and like be confident in that. And so now to come back and her to be like, oh no, I always hated it, it really takes away from that story arc and that moment for her. And then it's also as things like the one thing that she hated, everybody using and abusing her body, doing whatever they want with it, they did it like 8 times in this story arc.
Yeah.
It was just like it was just like, oh my gosh, it was just like, so it loses a lot of its agency for me. And and then to even kind of have Betsy sit back and be like, oh, I hated my body, that's why I stayed in Quanen's body. It's like now she comes off kind of gross.
Yeah.
It's just like it's just like no, it's like that's not what the story was ever about. It was, and again, it's different because even in the last issue, you have Psylocke 2 making the comment how they were both victims. It's
Right.
like
Yeah.
like she says like this was something that was done to us. The line it just really does not feel right. I think it's a really strange, again, slippery slope to go on, and I think it's a big misreading of the story of Betsy in general and just kind of like what she's gone through, what the swap means for her, and what it all entails. um, I do not enjoy it. And someone made the comment. I was talking to some other Betsy fans, and we've just been like, you know, talking about the arcs and things like that. And they were saying they don't think Teeny likes. They were talking about how they don't think Teeny likes Betsy. And I was like, I don't think that's true. I was like, I think Teeny likes Betsy, but you know, we've always kind of talked about how Teeny is fairly new to comics. I think she's kind of in like year 5 or 6 of writing, even less than that because about a year and a half of it was paused due to the pandemic. Um, but I think she likes Betsy, but I just don't think she's said she wasn't an avid comic book reader. So I don't think she's read a lot of Betsy's stories, and she's mentioned how she's read a lot of the old Captain Britain stuff, and her favorite Betsy is pre X-Men Strike Betsy.
Oh, okay.
And it's like
Not even Outback era, just like way before. Okay.
not even the Outback era. Like yes.
Okay. Okay.
Like the pink armor and cape is right there.
I
Like,
mean, I figured we all
like
go
if
back to that.
like if you want to go back to a template, let's go back to the template, okay? How do you think we got modern day Emma Frost? Let's talk about it. We can talk about it.
We'll get
But
there.
so my thing is like, you know, this version of Betsy that she likes, it's very much, or the version of Betsy that she likes that it feels like she's writing on the page is a Betsy who says she's gone through all of the things that we have read throughout the years, but doesn't know how to apply any of it.
Mm.
You know, and I guess that's where the disconnect is coming for me, or what I've realized I think the disconnect for me is. So it's like she keeps saying these things like, oh yeah, I'm a fighter, like I know how to do this, I can do this, I have all this knowledge, I have all this history, I have all these skills, I've been here. But then it's like you get her there and she's acting like pre X-Men Strike Betsy who didn't know how to do any of those things. And so it's just it's like it's night and day. I think again, and then there are some things with the art that I just feel as though I think both Teeny and Marcus are very talented separately.
Mm-hmm.
I do not think that they are a great team.
Mm-hmm.
I think there are some times where you read this book and it feels like some pages are missing, or like you've just skipped over something. And I think that's like where, and Teeny's even said, she's like, I like to let my artists go crazy. And it's like, I don't know if they're just like, I think they need to communicate a little bit more, and I don't think they're doing that. So
I'd
All in
like to see
all,
the book get a new style or something and a little bit more of a better like trajectory for me. For me to like really want to get into it again, I feel like it's just like
even the trajectory for me is fine. Like I think about it. So at the beginning of the issue, like Betsy's back. She's talking to the council, and they're telling her about all the things that are going on. They're like, the queen is mad because they feel as though they don't have their Captain Britain right now, which is like, get over it. Don't you have Union Jack or something? Like you got other people there who can do the job. Captain Britain is a mutant now. She don't care about Britain.
it's
She
her
doesn't
name.
care.
She gotta care.
She don't care anymore. So she's got that going on. They talk about Saturnine and like how Saturnine won't talk about anybody else but Captain Britain, and they've got the whole other world gate going on. They've got there's a data page where Pete Wisdom is like texting Betsy nonstop, talking about how he's coming to the gala with Clan Akaba, who's been you know what I'm saying. So it's like she's got a lot of stuff to do. And like I think the story is still there, and there's still a lot of things to go with. But I think a lot of things that are supposed to be happening, or that we were supposed to have gotten. Again, I said it before. I felt like we had to pull teeth to get to it. The narrative again is consistently staying strong. The way she's writing the story is good. I think I don't know. It's just I guess it's like everything else is fine. Now is it? Do I just not like the characters?
Well, I know I don't.
Or not even do I just not like the characters. I don't know. Is there just enough to keep me as interested? Like, yeah, no, I guess just do I like the characters? Like, I like Betsy. That's fine. And so again, like, but this Malice story felt strange because why have Malice and Psylocke 2 come in and gotten more characterization and story time than half of the book? And so it's like you keep again. This is where I say it kind of feels like we're being dragged along by the plot because no one else is really interacting with anything. And it's like at some point, like we need to have everybody start interacting with these things. Like this is the book for it. Everybody else kind of has to start speaking up and doing their own thing. And Betsy, I don't know. She just got to stop giving me whiplash with that.
Yeah. Do you feel like that has at least reached a conclusion now as far as the Betsy Psylocke thing?
Yes.
Like that's done. Like they can move past this now.
Yes, I think the last issue and this issue were very much testaments to them moving past it and kind of like going forward. I know a lot of people still aren't happy with it. A lot of people still feel as though it was kind of hollow. We didn't really get to a real resolution for Betsy. But I kind of feel like what else are we going to do? Like, I don't think we're going to revisit it again. And I don't think it's something that needs to be revisited again. I'm so tired of it. Like,
yeah,
I'm tired.
I'm ready to like move back.
Like, it has been 20 plus years of this. And so my thing is like, because I feel like even with Betsy, like Teeny said stuff about how she was going to have Betsy facing her privilege. And even that has felt hollow because it's like, if we really want to get into it, let's talk about how this white woman was in this Asian woman's body. And then she's now back in her white woman body. Like, how are people treating her differently? How is she reacting to that? How does she now view like other minorities and like want to help them? And how does she get back, especially her being Captain Britain? Like, how is she helping the minorities of Britain? Like, Britain's not white. It's like,
right.
And you can even say that, oh, like she's been on the lens of it. She's been in the lens of the other person. So she knows exactly what they're going through and those microaggressions and things that she can face. And like, let her face that privilege and let her make a difference about it. But we don't even get that.
I think the problem with that is, did she ever really face those issues while she was in that Asian body? Like, did she come face to face with like, I always thought that was kind of a part of the story that she like was in this Asian body, but she's not an Asian woman, so she never fully got the Asian experience.
In the original story, that Betsy washes ashore on a hand compound, and they find her. She's amnesiac. This is just after she like sent all the team through the Siege Perilous, and they find her amnesiac, and they're like, "Oh, we recognize her as the X-Man Psylocke from TV. She doesn't have any memory right now, but she is a formidable psychic. We think we can make her an assassin on par of Elektra." So they like
my girl.
So they like kidnap her, but they put her body through this like very magical transformative process, kind of get Mojo involved in the body shop, because the whole thing is that we can't have this white woman running around the Chinese underground talking about she's fighting for us. So
Right.
that's why they make her the Asian woman. Fabian Nicieza never read that story. Then he created Quan, which like, and then once he found out, he immediately killed her off. Which started the whole body swap thing, which was like became this like huge confusing mass merger for like the last 20 years. So no writer ever really hit on like what it was for this white woman to be in this Asian woman's body, because again it was like a lot of men writing comics at the time. They wanted their hot psychic ninja Asian babe, like that was it, like let's get into it, it's a fetish. And so a lot of women writers have like said that they would have loved to kind of do it. I remember G. Willow Wilson, when she did the X-Men story arc for like 4 issues, she talked about if she would have been on that run longer, she kind of would have dealt with something like that for Betsy, about her being in this body and like the microaggressions she faces and how she deals with that. And so when you get to Teenie talking about how she wants to have Betsy facing her privilege, it's like, oh, okay, like this is something that we've all kind of been like waiting to see and waiting to get into. And it's like, even that, it's just Betsy like crying, talking about, oh my, and like forcing trying to force alternate reality quantas to accept an apology. And it just doesn't work. I guess it fits. It feels very white woman. It's very like white woman feminist. And so it's so funny. You don't watch it, but I'm watching The Real Housewives of Dallas right now. And there are these two housewives. One is named Brandy and one is named Tiffany. Brandy, a couple of years ago, she did like a very offensive video mocking Asian people, like in their eyes. She like did her eyesight. So like resurfaced, and then right, and so then the housewife Tiffany is an Asian woman. So like in some of the very first episodes, like Tiffany and Brandy like address it. And like Tiffany comes up to her and Tiffany's like, I understand that you are not racist. You're ignorant. Like it was ignorant. Like, you know what you did was wrong. I don't have to explain that to you was wrong. But let me tell you like why it's wrong. And she like tells her a little bit about her story. And so they kind of like make up. But like Brandy still continues to carry this guilt about this video. And it's just kind of like, girl, she's not even mad at you anymore. Like she doesn't think you're racist. Like she gets it. You're white and stupid. Like, I'm sorry. Like, to any white people who are listening, but minorities, people of color, kind of already understand systemic racism and what it has done, and like
we live
how you know what I'm saying. Like we understand stereotypes and all that stuff. So it's like we already kind of assume that even if you're not like completely, even if you're not a racist, you still got a little bit of like.
Right.
Something. It's a little bit of something in there, and it's not your fault. It is just the way the world has been. Like for so long, we are trying to break down that system. And so like I've been watching that, and I've been like reading this Excalibur story, and it's like so interesting to like see these two white women crying so much, and it's just like, and like the Asian women are just supposed to forgive them, and it's like this was never how kind of like it felt for Betsy in that story in the first. And again, like if that's how you want to take it, that's fine. But if you're gonna say let's have her address it, have her address it. Don't just have her pushing her white woman tears.
Yeah, no.
It's like, and so
I don't know if Teenie would have had the experiences in her own life to kind of know how to do that.
Exactly.
I don't know her like that. So she could have, but
which you know, but that's what I say. It's like this. If it's like it was never. I mean, Betsy is a white woman, but it was always very much she understood that what she was doing was wrong, and it's like the type of character she is. She would understand that it's wrong, and like truly, you're gonna have her address the privilege. Because Betsy's not the type of character who kind of shies away from stuff. Like she is bullheaded, she's stubborn, she'll like confront it head on and have her deal with the repercussions of that. But you just have her like running and crying. Again, this is not the woman who you say you're writing. It's weird. I go through a lot of emotions with this book. It's my favorite book.
At least it's keeping you in and, you know, invoking all these emotions in you. So, and
that's my thing. And I think the thing about Excalibur again is like, it has
better than me. I dropped X Factor a long time ago.
So I think the thing about Excalibur, that Excalibur has really good ideas, and I think the conversations it can lead to are like fantastic. That make you want like that you can come from through this book, whether it be about the Captain Britain Corps, whether it be about mutant magic. I think the exploration of like other realms and like mutants getting stronger in their sense of togetherness is amazing. Again, I think having a mutant Captain Britain is amazing. I think again, if you would actually have Betsy facing her privilege, it would be amazing. I think the concept of the Captain Britain Corps kind of being all mutant now is amazing. I think Otherworld is amazing. Like there's a lot of stuff in here, but it just feels like we're clumsily falling into place. So it's like, are we going to continue clumsily, or are we going to finally stand up straight? I would like to stand up straight.
Standing up. Well, when you start standing up, let me know, because I want to stand up too. So.
All in all, I would honestly give this issue a 3.5 out of 5. Like, again,
Okay.
It's very well written. I think there are just some parts that feel a little heavy-handed, a little awkward. I think the characterization of not even everyone else, just Betsy, is so back and forth that it's really hard to latch onto the parts that you like and say, oh, okay, yeah, like this is great. Like this is the Betsy I want to read about versus like, okay, this is the Betsy I want to be sympathetic about and like kind of watch her grow, because they're just so jarring.
Yeah.
And it's just like, the art was nice. Again, I think both of these people are very talented. The coloring's a little. I do think the coloring also helps sometimes. The coloring strange. Like even when they bring Malice back in like her body on Krakoa, her hair is brown, and then like a page later it's black. Yeah, so it's like, I don't know what the editors be doing, but that was Excalibur. Those are the comments. I didn't think I was going to talk about that book for so long.
Hey, it's your page.
It's my favorite book. It has my favorite character. Like I have like,
yeah.
And again, there's some things that I think, even if we're going to do like the body dysmorphia thing for Betsy, like I can even like truly find a way to make that work in my head. Like the doll was a model, right. She I'm sure she's had some body issues. And I can't really say that like, oh, she's had body issues, but like she didn't hate her body. Body dysmorphia is about lacking control. It's like you're never really gonna know how you feel, but it just doesn't really feel like it was him. The nuance wasn't there of just like what it really was, of what it's supposed to be. So it all just kind of feels like it's slapping you in the face, so you're just supposed to take it. Like, all right. But
there's no nuance there. It just feels like you are forcing a problem that you just want me to see and just accept that it's there, but it really isn't.
Very white woman.
Yeah.
So that was Excalibur. Those were the comics of the week.
All right.
Let's take a break.